Senna down into second position as they go up towards the Tamburello. Berger leads, Senna second, Bootson is in third place, Petray is in fourth position. Now the sprint up to the Villeneuve curve, and Nigel Mansell puts a rear wheel on the grass, and there's trouble at the back. And Senna goes through into the lead, Berger second, and it's one of the Leighton House cars, it's Capelli.
Yes, quite a messy start there, or messy first straight down through the long bend there. There was some bumping and boring. A Lazy was being very aggressive, I noticed there, in the pack into the first corner. And in fact, that's quite a big accident, and that looks like a Tyrrell.
Yes, indeed it is. Which one, I do not know, but I think it was probably Nakajima. It was Nakajima. Alesi is okay. Nakajima started from 19th on the grid, and Capelli started 18th, so there was obviously a coming together. Now, Bootson is up into second place ahead of Berger, who's down. Senna is pulling away a bit, so it's Petray in fourth place. Alesi is in fifth position. Then it's the two Ferraris of Mansell and Prost, sixth and seventh. Let us hope they're not going to stop the race to recover Nakajima's broken Tyrrell.
Yes, well, Nakajima appeared to be all right. I saw him standing beside the car there. There were a fair few bits hung off it, but he appeared to be okay. So, tremendous start again from Berger. As they come by some feet at the end of the first lap. Incidentally, I noticed that now they're attempting to clear all the rubbish away, and let's hope they can do it without having to stop the race. And Senna leading, Senna with opening a little bit of a gap now.
Ahead of Bootson, Berger challenging. There is Petray in fourth position, Alesi fifth, Nigel Mansell in the Ferrari is in sixth position. There's a gap before Prost, who incidentally is using the old bodywork, and Mansell is using the new bodywork. Nigel Mansell in the V12 Ferrari. There is Prost. And it looks, yes, it's the two Benettons with Nelson Pique leading the two of them, followed by Alessandro Nannini and Ayrton Senna's first lap. As you look at the inset, that looks like Roberto Moreno's Eurobrun in the pits. He may well have retired after having had a tremendous bashing when his car went off very seriously in practice yesterday. So Alesi still fifth, then the Ferraris, then Pique, followed by Alessandro Nannini, and Ayrton Senna, as Petray locks up, is using this opportunity to build a gap between himself and his friend Thierry Bootson, the Belgian, as the rest of them stream through.
And here we look at the first lap accident. There was some wheels on the outside there, everybody going for the inside, and there, now you see the Tyrrell in the background. He'd climbed up, had quite a heavy impact against the wall.
And there's the spin, and it is Martin Donnelly who's spinning in the Lotus. And that's a great pity, because Martin went extremely well during practice. So, Alesi still ahead of Mansell, but, and that is Pirro. Pirro has spun off. Well, they're going off all round the circuit now. Mansell taking Alesi. Nigel Mansell has got the bit between his teeth. We are on lap 3, and Alesi, the brilliant Frenchman in the 4 DFR powered Tyrrell, is trying to get that place back. Here's the replay. Look at this. Nigel Mansell going through and taking Alesi. And now Senna. Oh, that's Ayrton Senna. Is he going to be out of the Grand Prix? He is. He's not going to get away from that. Rear wheel spinning. Ayrton Senna retires from the San Marino Grand Prix on lap 4. What a sensation.
Well, I think Senna may have had trouble with his car because Bootson had got right back behind him and had closed down on the lead. I do think that Senna may have had a problem with his car. Yes, he's checking for a puncture on the right rear tyre, and it is flat. So it looks as if Senna may have had a puncture, whether the wheel looks broken now, maybe, or is it? Now, here we see Senna in trouble. Look at the right rear tyre. You can see it going out of shape. Yes, the car's down. It's gone light on the left front wheel because the tyre is flat. So that was not down to Senna. He had a complete flat on the right rear.
And there is a very unhappy Ayrton Senna, who won in 88 here and 89, returning to the pits, the World Championship leader. Will he still be at the end of this race? Well, at the moment, on lap 6, it's 1/10 distance. Bootson leads. Berger. Petray is third in the second Williams. Mansell is fourth. Prost is fifth in the second Ferrari. Alesi is sixth in the leading V8 engine car. Then it's Nannini seventh. Derek Warwick in the Lotus is in eighth position. Eric Bernard, the Frenchman, is ninth in the Lola. 10th is his teammate Aguri Suzuki, the Japanese driver. 11th and 12th, Alio and Pique. There is Bootson, the leader, followed by Berger in second place. There's a gap between second, third and fourth for Tracy and Mansell is gaining on the Italian. Indeed, he's put up the fastest lap so far. Nigel Mansell, 1 minute 29.39, which is about 3 seconds outside the lap record, but with a full fuel load.
Yes, what's worrying, you saw that puff of smoke then, maybe. More smoke. Mansell's car is beginning to smoke in a way that looks to me unhealthy. Doesn't look like it's going to go the distance.
And here is Alesi, and it looks to me as though there's been a spin from the smoke in the background, and Alesi was in 7th position because Nannini has got past him. Race order, lap 10, 1/6 distance. Bootson leading Berger by 1.3 seconds. Patrese is third, Mansell is fourth. Now here is Barilla with Olivier Grillard, the Frenchman, who turns across the Italian, takes his line. Barilla spins the Minardi, the only one in the race because his teammate Pierluigi Martini is out, of course, after his crash in practice. And the race order now on lap 10 is Bootson, Berger, Patrese, Mansell. Then in 5th position, Prost. 6th, Nannini, who's moved ahead of Alesi. 7th is 8th is Derek Warwick. 9th is Pique. And there's the replay spin of the Tyrrell of Alesi. Well, he spun right across the grass, rejoined the track, hardly lost any time, but he's kept going. Now you are looking through the camera of Maurizio Gugelmin's Leighton House car. That's actually the bodywork that's been lifted up with the camera attached to it. Pique and Alesi. Now we're riding with Pique. There is Alesi in front of him. Pique goes through in the Benetton, moves up a place. Now remember what Alesi did to Senna when Senna passed him at Phoenix, the first Grand Prix. But no doubt about it, Nelson Pique, who has certainly got a new lease of life this year. Pique is a man who needs a car that can do well to bring out the best in him. Here's a replay as Jean Alesi, the Frenchman in the new 019 Tyrrell with the distinctive front wing, moves over. Nelson Pique goes through, and the race order now then on lap 18, as you look at Alesi, is Bootson leading Berger, Williams leading McLaren, Riccardo Patrese in the second, Williams in third place ahead of Mansell by 1 second. In fifth place, Prost, sixth Nannini, seventh now is Pique. So the two Benettons are sixth and seventh, and into the pits comes Bootson. In that inset, that is Thierry Bootson, and we were not expecting any tyre changes. I checked on that immediately before the race began. This is totally unexpected. And now Berger leads the San Marino Grand Prix.
Yes, whatever it is, it looks as if he's out of contention anyway, because, yeah, they look to be pushing the car away. So what a great shame. A good effort by Thierry Bootson. Led the race nicely. And that's the Bootson problem, I think. Bootson slowing down, yes, smoking from the back of the car. So engine or gearbox troubles for Thierry Bootson in that replay. So Berger leads, Patrese is closer, and Mansell is closer.
And now this could resolve the second place, because Barilla is in front of Patrese and Mansell. There is Barilla in the Minardi. Patrese catching him. And they're coming up now to the Variante Alta. That's the second chicane. Mansell now closes right up with Patrese, who's got to choose his point to get past the Minardi, which has got a Ford V8 engine in it. And of course, Patrese's got much more power. Now there's the leader, Berger. Patrese takes Barilla, Mansell takes Barilla, but now the Ferrari is much closer to the Williams than it was on the previous lap.
It is indeed, but I still think what with the loss of grip in the corner onto the straight when they're that close, plus the current power of the Renault engine, well, we shall see as they set off down the straight, just if the Ferrari can do anything. In the meantime, Berger has speeded up a little bit and pulled away a little bit on that first lap with clear air, and Mansell is in the tow now. Coming down to the corner, Mansell has the inside line, but he's going to have to be brave onto the brakes, and he is. No, but Patrese has a good run at him coming out, and Mansell very cleverly hugged the inside of the corner to block Patrese switching to the inside. And that was a fine piece of driving by Mansell. He gave himself probably too much space overtaking, getting into the corner, which slowed him down a bit, but he was clever because realising that, instead of trying to power out on a wide line, he held it tight, and that certainly defended the position brilliantly from Patrese, who would have come back at him.
And into the pits comes Alesi for a tyre change, is it? Well, we'll see. Yes, indeed it is. Jean Alesi, the Frenchman, from 7th position, comes in for a new set of Pirellis, gets out 9.2 seconds, not at all bad. But look at this. This is the battle between Riccardo Patrese in the white, blue and yellow Williams Renault coming through to complete the 25th lap, chased by Prost, and Berger has passed Modena. There's Mansell. Berger's got several men to lap in front of him. It's the old story. There's three men there. If they slow Berger up, it could give... There he is. And he's passing Gregor Foitek in the second, and that is Stefano Modena, and Mansell is definitely closer to Berger now. 2.8 seconds it was at the end of the lap, and as you can see, Nigel Mansell is the fastest man at Imola. 1 minute 28.66, outside the lap record by just 2 seconds.
Berger will be very relieved that he's got those cars between himself and Mansell. He got a good run with the back markers. Mansell now 2 corners. He's had to sit behind Modena. And the Ferrari team preparing for a tyre change, and it may well be Mansell, likely to be Mansell, that they're going to have to change.
So it is a V10 Honda-powered car leading the V12 Ferrari, then the V10 Williams of Patrese, the V12 Ferrari of Prost, and then the 2 V8s, Ford-powered Benettons, Nannini and Pique in 5th and 6th places.
One problem, of course, that Prost is going to have in the race is passing the Williams. Whoops! And Mansell just managed to hold it with the Dallara in front of him, and really that was De Cesaris doing his usual performance, taking no notice of the leaders, lapping him, and really and now we see it again, and you'll see that Mansell is coming inside. He should know he's there, he's leading the race, and look at this idiot. And it really is a disgrace that he's allowed to continue to interfere with Grand Prix racing, and apart from spoiling the race for the drivers out there, he spoils it for us spectators. Luckily that time he didn't, but only thanks to Mansell's quick control of the situation.
Nigel Mansell gives a fistful to Andrea De Cesaris, who incidentally was involved in a very hairy incident with Alessandro Nannini, and he had the Benetton off in practice on Friday and completely destroyed the new 190 car. To say that Andrea De Cesaris is incident-prone is a masterpiece of understatement. And of course, now Berger has benefited from Mansell's problem, because the gap has increased to 6.3 seconds on this, the 28th lap. And you can see now that the Dallara is ahead of Alain Prost, who's got the problem that Nigel Mansell's just had of trying to get past an incredibly wide Dallara. Look at it. Now, let's watch. Well, Prost does not have the problem that Mansell had there. He sprints through, and it's still Berger leading. 3 seconds the previous lap faster than Nigel Mansell. I'm just hoping, as all the Italians here will be who are watching Nigel Mansell in the Ferrari, that his suspension was not deranged by that coming together with De Cesaris' Dallara. It was a pretty violent bump. Here is Prost. Stopwatch running. A good tyre stop is 7 seconds. So that was an extremely good tyre stop. A new set of Goodyear tyres for Alain Prost, and I wouldn't mind betting that he's gone on to a softer compound now. So the race order still on lap 31, which is just about half distance, just over half distance. Gerhard Berger leads Mansell. There's Berger by 4.7 seconds. Petray third, 3.6 seconds behind Mansell. Nannini fourth, 5.8 seconds behind Petray. Fifth is Alain Prost, tyres changed. Sixth is Pique. Seventh is De Lacy.
Well, Prost, yes, he's going reasonably quickly, but he's not really making any impression. He's been lapping quicker since his stop, the two flying laps he's done, than he did earlier, but he's not, he's 27, 28 seconds behind Berger, and I still haven't worked out the logic of that stop, unless he had a problem with one of the tyres, like a slow puncture, in which case that makes it obvious the reason, but as a tactical thing for speed, I still haven't fathomed it.
And now we're riding with Alessandro Nannini. The two aerials in front of him are in the front. The aerial is to enable Nannini to talk to the pits. Behind is to enable the engine telemetry to also report to the pits. And you can see there into the pits, and it looks to me that's Modena coming into the pits in the Brabham.
I get the impression that Berger is not lapping quite as quickly now as he was 10 laps ago, and he's had a clear run for a few laps, and he's struggling. He's lapping round about the 1:29 mark, and Mansell's lapping about a second a lap quicker, or has been so far. Now that makes me suspect that Berger's in a bit of trouble with tyres. And of course, if he is, that can only get worse. And Prost, new fastest lap for Alain Prost, but Prost is being, as is his wont, relatively slow through the traffic, and despite that is still making no impression on the leaders. Prost still 28.5 seconds adrift.
Yes, and what a battle for the lead. I'm just a bit worried about that oil that we see burning from Nigel Mansell's car, but then it's been doing it from lap 4. It may just be a leak, let's hope it is, onto the exhaust pipe.
Much of smoke there, Berger certainly on the limit. He's been, throughout the race, on the limit, visibly using all of the road, bouncing it up the curb. And when I say that, not badly, but Mansell now almost in the slipstream. He's not quite close enough. Well, he's picked up the toe there. He's getting close, and Mansell's going to go for the lead right now, and he pulls... Well, don't slap the tyres. Well, Berger should have seen him, and that was out of order, but Mansell sort of backed off, but I think that was down to Berger, and he didn't see him, and that was bad driving, because Berger is not the man, or not the man I know would have done that deliberately, but he was taking the line he would normally have taken, and it strikes me now, if you look, Mansell is just in the blind spot there. He's out of the mirror, and Mansell, well, at that speed on full power, they're not easy to control on the grass. And the worry for Mansell is whether he's flat-spotted those tyres with that big high-speed spin. If he hasn't done that, then he'll recover and everything will be fine.
And that is Gregor Foitek, the Swiss driver in his first race for the Onyx team, out of it. But Riccardo Petray still third, ahead of Nannini, Prost and Pique, as Gerhard Berger goes through the Acqua Minerale. Now up towards us, you can see from the flags that are being waved in the background that the Italians again sense the chance for Nigel Mansell to catch, and this time from their point of view hopefully to get past Gerhard Berger. That's Foitek's car being lifted off the circuit. Well, I remind you that Prost, who started off on a harder compound, came in some time ago to change his tyres. He's in 5th position, and Mansell's blown it. That's a retirement, I think, coming up for the Ferrari. That oil smoke that we saw all through the race was a problem, and what a bitter, bitter pill for Nigel Mansell, for Ferrari, for the Italian spectators. That, I think, has virtually finished the race, because with Nigel Mansell out of the running after a quite brilliant drive, that means to say that Riccardo Petray is now 5.5 seconds behind Berger. Nannini goes up into 3rd position as Nigel Mansell climbs out of the Ferrari on lap 40 to retire and walk straight away into the pit, a very, very unhappy man. That's the same thing, of course, that happened to him at Phoenix. He finished in 4th place in Brazil. So Nigel's Ferrari season is not turning out to be as good thus far as 1989 did when he won in Brazil and Hungary. So there's the leader. Next one up, Petray. Berger, of course, has got a problem that we can only guess at, and that is that he still doesn't completely fit, still isn't entirely comfortable in the McLaren cockpit. He's a tall chap, Gerhard Berger. We know from his own lips that he wants ideally another 10 centimetres of room in a car, and he's now been driving for nearly 48 laps under colossal pressure. I remind you, we've had 2 race leaders go out, Ayrton Senna and Thierry Bootson, as down drops the Ferrari of Alain Prost in 4th position. Going well. and we're riding with Nannini now, and that's Martin Donnelly immediately in front, and Derek Warwick immediately in front of him, as Nannini pulls out, going down to the Acqua Minerale. He is through before Martin Donnelly, so he has lapped the 8th man. That's given Derek Warwick a bit of a breather, and he's taking advantage of it, using every horsepower that the Lamborghini V12 engine can give him as he goes into the top chicane, chased by 3rd position man Nannini, who is 9 seconds behind Petray, who is 2 seconds behind race leader Gerhard Berger. Alessandro Nannini is being held up by Derek Warwick, and that gives Prost the opportunity to close right up on the Benetton.
Yes, and Prost is in position A to get the tow from the Benetton down the straight. But he'll want the Benetton to tow up behind the Lotus, because that will mean that he can't get the tow from the Lotus to help him. But Prost actually didn't really get onto the power quite as sharply as he might have done as they came onto the straight.
I hope we look at the leaders soon, because Petray is now less than half a second behind Gerhard Berger and lapping much faster. Riccardo Petray has just gone round in 1:27.7. Petray leads the San Marino Grand Prix from Gerhard Berger. So we have the 3rd race leader, the 4th race leader. Senna, then Bootson, then Berger, and now Riccardo Petray. Is Gerhard Berger in trouble? If so, is it physical, or is it car, or is it tyres? Well, what a turn up for the books. Riccardo Petray has only won 2 Grand Prix in the 194 that he has driven in. This is his 195th. He could be on his way to his 3rd. And now we've got a battle too for 3rd position, because Prost is past the Ligier, as is Nannini. They're up to Barilla. 3rd and 4th absolutely together, and it could change here.
Going to get a bit overcrowded as they arrive at the hairpin. And neatly in line astern, there was really a few too many cars around for any heroics there.
So we've got a Williams leading, a McLaren 2nd, a Benetton 3rd, a Ferrari in 4th position, and that is tremendously encouraging. With Nelson Pique still up there in 5th position in the Benetton. 6th is Alesi, 7th is Warwick, 8th is Donnelly, and it looks as though they're going to stay that way. Now, Prost is up there again. This is his last chance but one to go for 3rd.
Well, in fact, it's his last chance, because they'll complete 60 laps as they cross the line, and it's only down that straight, really, at the first straight of the last lap, that he's have a chance. Now, a puff of smoke there from Prost's car, but if it's just doing a Mansell, he hasn't been smoking for any of the rest of the race, so he should be all right. Now, this is where Prost, he's just not close enough. He's further back than the last lap, so unless Nannini misses a gear or something, there's no way he's going to have a go at him down into turn 1. Last lap started. So a most strange decision from Alain Prost would seem, as we look back to the race leader, Petray. Now he can almost freewheel to the flag. Berger has eased right back. He's Petray now over 6 seconds in hand. So he can have Berger just coming into shot. Very good race by Petray. Good steady stuff. He made the right choice of tyres. Stuck with his guns, had to drive hard, had to work very hard for the victory, and a well-deserved victory after all those races. His 3rd Grand Prix win. Behind him, and Nannini really going for it at the end. The fastest lap for Nannini to defend that place. Good drive by Nannini. Berger struggled on with not quite such a good tyre choice as it turned out. Maybe some trouble in the cockpit still, a bit of discomfort, but a good race by him. Nannini, good steady stuff, and Alain Prost, strange decision unless there was more to it than we were party to, because that certainly seemed to cost him a chance for the win. Mansell, fine charging race, just as we'd expect, but very unlucky. The Ferrari always looked as if he'd let him down, but it was smoking right from the start of the race, and a pity we lost it.
Riccardo Petray comes out of the last corner on the last lap, waves his fist in joy, as well he might, because he has won his third Grand Prix in his long career. Gerhard Berger second, and look how close the third and fourth are. Another lap and we might have had a change there, but there wasn't another lap, and so the San Marino Grand Prix of 1990 has been won by the third different car and driver combination in 3 races, and that is what Grand Prix racing needs. A brilliant victory then in the San Marino Grand Prix for Riccardo Petray from Gerhard Berger, with Alessandro Nannini in 3rd position, Alain Prost 4th, Nelson Pique 5th, and Jean Alesi 6th. So Ayrton Senna still leads the World Championship, but now by just 1 point ahead of Gerhard Berger and Alain Prost, tying for 2nd. 4th position, thanks to his win here, Riccardo Petray. And in 5th place, Jean Alesi, ahead of Nelson Pique and Thierry Bootson. In the Constructors' Championship, McLaren still lead by 10 points, but now there's a tie for 2nd position between Williams and Ferrari. In 4th place, Benetton, and in 5th, Tyrrell. So the San Marino Grand Prix saw a new driver and car combination winning the 3rd race.
Vediamo anche il presidente della FIA San Marino.
Ricardo, 7 years since your last win, a long, long dry spell, but this really must make up for it.
Well, I'm very, very pleased. I mean, very happy. I don't know what to say. Really, I wanted to win this Grand Prix because I had something since 1983 when I lost with the Brabham 4 laps to go, crashing at the Acqua Minerale. So this year was the next time I had the chance to be competitive and win. So I tried all my best, and my car really was super perfect since the beginning till the end. And everything went straight through without any problem. Very good, thank you.
I remember you won one race in Monaco and you weren't even sure that you won that. There was certainly no doubt about this. It was a very tough race. Certainly it looked it from the outside.
Well, I think this race to watch it must be really very interesting because it was always very competitive all the time. Leader change and McLaren, us and Ferrari. I think we had a good battle, and I think I saved a little bit the car at the beginning because I didn't have a fantastic start, and 20 laps to go I started to push very hard and the car was responding very well. Mainly the brakes that was the main concern before the race. They were fantastic, and so I could really push hard and brake very late. And I think everything went perfect. I mean, the tactic that I chose, I think it was a good one.
195 starts. Are we going to see some more wins before we get to the magic 200?
I don't know. I hope, but it's not easy. You see a tough race as today. Everybody can win. I mean, it's a question to be competitive and strong enough, and also have a little bit of luck.
Thank you. Gerhard, a very tough race for you too. You had first a big battle with Terry Bootson for the lead, and then you were pushed very hard by Nigel Mansell, and then in the closing laps, Riccardo Petray. What happened when he finally got by you?
For the first, Riccardo said he had the luck. I don't think he had luck. He did a very good race. What he said, it was true. He was pushing later on in the race very hard. I did no mistakes except one. I'm braking a little bit late in Rivazza. I went a little bit wide. That was all, and I couldn't do better. So I had no chance against him. I just saw he's quicker, and it's better to be sure second than to lose points. In the beginning, I had a good start, but I missed the gear. So I had a little bit problem on the end of the straight. Ayrton passed me again, and Bootson too. But then we had a good fight. Ayrton had a problem on the right rear tire, and I fight with Terry. Was nice. And then he had an engine problem, and I was nice in the lead. Then Nigel was coming. He was very quick. I saw him. I look in the mirror before the corner in the Tamburello, and I thought he will pass me in the end of the straight, and then suddenly I saw on the left side his nose, and I go on the right, but it was already too late, and he spin off because he was, I think, with two wheels on the grass. It looks very bad, and I'm very sorry because I don't like situations like this. And then I just pushed every lap, and I just tried to control Riccardo. I made sometimes some seconds in overlapping, but in the end it was not enough to win the race.
Still 12 points, just 1 point behind leader, your teammate out in Senna. So you must be feeling pretty good about your chances of the championship.
Yeah, because I don't think so much on the championship. It's a long way to go. But for me it's important in the beginning, until I get confident in the team, in the car and everything, to make points and to make a good race, to get a little bit confident in everything, and people get confident in me. But if I'm honest, I would like to win.
Thank you very much, Gerhard. Sandro Nannini, a superb race, a great race with Alan Prost at the end. You took fastest lap of the race as you were dicing with Alan. One stage he got past you, you went past again. What exactly happened?
But the last 10 laps I had a problem with with Warwick. Do you hear me with this or no? Yes? No. I had a problem the last 10 laps because Warwick was stupid because he fight with Donnelly, and I couldn't pass him because he lose every lap. He loses some oils, and he was 2-3 seconds lower than me, but I couldn't pass. And the Prost arrived very close to me, and maybe I could lose the third position.
Okay, thank you very much, Sandro, and another congratulations once again. A super day for Italy and for the Imola fans. Thank you.
Good, Podium.